Welcome, my dear, beloved listeners. Tonight, we step into one of the most chilling and prophetic visions ever written, 1984, the dystopian masterpiece by George Orwell. Published in 1949, this is not just a novel. It's a warning, a vision of what happens when freedom dies, when truth is rewritten, and when the human spirit is crushed beneath the weight of total power. In this dark future, the world is ruled not by love or reason but by fear, by the iron hand of an omnipresent government, by the ever-watchful eyes of Big Brother. The year is 1984. The setting? London, a city within the superstate of Oceania. The landscape is gray, decaying, and filled with telescreens devices that both broadcast propaganda and spy on every citizen. Posters line every wall, bearing the iconic phrase, "Big Brother is watching you." The party, led by the unseen figure of Big Brother, rules every aspect of life. History, language, even thought all are controlled. Truth itself has no meaning unless the party decrees it. Our protagonist is Winston Smith, a quiet, frail man in his late 30s. He works for the Ministry of Truth, where his job is to rewrite history-altering past records so that the party is always right. If yesterday the enemy was Eurasia, today it's East Asian. All evidence is adjusted accordingly. As Orwell writes, "He who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past." But Winston has begun to doubt. In his heart, he secretly rebels. He despises the party and dreams of freedom, of truth, of love. And though he hides it, he begins to think the unthinkable. Perhaps Big Brother is not all. Perhaps the people could rise again. One day, Winston does something forbidden. He buys a small blank notebook, a diary. In this world, even thinking against the party is a crime, known as thought. Yet Winston can't help himself. In shaky handwriting, he scrawls the words, "Down with Big Brother." It's an act of defiance, small, silent, but deadly. Soon after, Winston notices a dark-haired young woman named Julia, who works in the fiction department. At first, he fears she's a spy for the thought police. But then, one day, she secretly slips him a note that changes everything. The note reads, "I love you." In a society where love is illegal and intimacy is controlled by the state, this is rebellion of the highest order. Winston and Julia begin a forbidden affair. They meet in secret first, in the crowded streets, then in a rented room above an old shop in the slums. In that room, away from the prying eyes of the telescreens, they taste freedom for the first time. They talk, they laugh, and they dream of revolution. Julia, more practical than Winston, doesn't care about ideology. She just wants to live, to love, to feel human again. Their relationship blooms in the shadows, but Winston knows the danger. He knows that the party will never allow this happiness to last. Still, for a moment, they believe they have escaped. Then one day, Winston and Julia are approached by an intelligent and mysterious inner party member, whom Winston suspects might secretly oppose Big Brother. Brian invites them to his home in unimaginable, privileged hands. Winston, a copy of a forbidden book by Emmanuel Goldstein, the party's supposed enemy and leader of the underground resistance called the Brotherhood. The book reveals the party's true philosophy: to maintain power, not for peace or justice, but simply for the sake of power itself. As O'Brien explains, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. but the illusion of rebellion shatters suddenly and brutally. One night, as Winston and Julia lie together in their secret room, a voice speaks from behind a picture on the wall. "You are the dead." The picture falls, revealing a hidden telescreen. The room is stormed by the thought police. Mr. Charrington, the kindly shopkeeper who rented them the room, is revealed to be an agent of the party. Winston and Julia are arrested, beaten, and taken to the dreaded Ministry of Love, a place where there is no love at all. Inside the Ministry of Love, the lights never go out. Time has no meaning. Prisoners scream through the night, and Winston faces his greatest tormentor, O'Brien, the very man he thought was a friend. O'Brien is not a rebel. He is a loyal servant of Big Brother. His mission is not to punish Winston, but to cure him, to make him love the party. Winston is tortured for weeks, perhaps months, starved, beaten, and interrogated until his mind begins to crack. O'Brien demands that Winston deny his own memories, that he believe whatever the party says is true. "How many fingers am I holding up?" O'Brien asks. "4, Winston says. "And if the party says 5? O'Brien presses. "Then 5. Slowly, Winston's grip on reality dissolves. Truth, he learns, is whatever the party commands. 2 + 2 can equal 5, if Big Brother wills it so. This is the ultimate power, not over the body, but over the mind. Finally, Winston is taken to room 101, the most feared place in the Ministry of Love. Inside room 101, each prisoner faces their worst fear. For Winston, that fear is rats. O'Brien straps a cage of starving rats to his face and tells him that unless he betrays Julia, the door will open and the rats will devour him alive. In that final moment of terror, Winston breaks. He screams, "Do it to Julia, not me. Tear her face off, not mine." With that single act of betrayal, Winston's soul is destroyed. He has become what the party wanted him to be: empty, obedient, and loyal only to Big Brother. Months later, Winston is released back into society. He spends his days drinking gin at the Chestnut Tree Cafe, his mind numb, his body broken. Julia, too, has been tortured. When they meet again, there is no love left between them, only shame and resignation. They both betrayed each other, and they both know it. Winston now accepts every lie the party tells him. He watches the telescreen and cheers for the latest victory. Even though he knows it's meaningless, he has learned to doublethink, the ability to hold two contradictory beliefs at once and believe both. At last, as he looks up at the giant image of Big Brother, tears fill his eyes. He whispers the words that seal his fate. He loved Big Brother. And so ends the story of 1984. A story not of triumph, but of loss of a man crushed by a system that demanded absolute control over truth, love, and thought itself. George Orwell wrote this book as a warning against the dangers of totalitarianism, against a world where lies become facts and where freedom is the ultimate crime. He showed us that dictatorship does not just destroy the body, it rewrites the mind until people no longer even know they are enslaved. The party's slogans still echo through time. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. Orwell's world may have been fiction, but its warning is forever real. Because 1984, ISNT, just about 1984, it is about every generation that forgets what freedom costs. And as long as power hungers for control, as long as truth is twisted for obedience, Orwell's voice and Winston's tragedy will remain a mirror to us all. Thank you for joining this journey through George Orwell's 1984, a novel of fear, rebellion, and the desperate search for truth. If you enjoyed this narration, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dive summaries of the world's greatest novels brought to life through storytelling. Feel free to comment down below for more suggestion literature that you want to see in my channel. There are many more interest literatures in my playlist. If you enjoyed my literature narration, you can go to my playlist. And remember, even when the screens are watching, freedom begins with thought.